Hey, it's Clint Davis from OverdueReview.com, and today, as part of our James Bond Rewatch series, I'm taking a look back at 1983's Octopussy, which has arguably the greatest title in the entire James Bond series, and definitely the most pornographic. It's the 13th movie in the James Bond Eon canon, and the 6th to star Sir Roger Moore. 1983 was a hell of a weird year for Bond fans. Roger Moore was 56 years old, and he decided that he didn't want to play James Bond anymore. So Eon held a search for the next Bond, and it included American actor James Brolin.
Hello, you still there? Well, I had a little trouble with the line. Yes, it's been fixed now.
But ultimately, the studio urged Roger Moore to come back because of a rival James Bond movie starring fan favorite Sean Connery that was going to hit theaters the same year.
Sean Connery is Ian Fleming's James Bond in Never Say Never Again.
Now, it's confusing, but the way that Connery's Never Say Never Again got made is because of some convoluted legal ruling over the rights to Ian Fleming's novel Thunderball. So Roger Moore came to the rescue of United Artists, and in the end, Octopussy made more money than Never Say Never Again at the box office. Not much more, but more nonetheless. Octopussy follows Bond trying to bring down a smuggling ring that deals in stolen Russian artifacts, while also stumbling onto a plot that would lead Europe to disarm its nuclear weapons, a move that would allow the Soviets to effectively take control of the West.
The West is decadent and divided. It has no stomach to risk our atomic reprisals.
All right, let's break this down. This would end up being Raj's penultimate performance as Bond, and the writers give him some interesting new challenges in Octopussy.
Really, 007. Look, I haven't time for these adolescent antics.
For one, he dresses as a crocodile to stay incognito. Looking back, it may not be Q's best gadget of all time. And then there's the infamous scene where Bond dresses as a clown in order to infiltrate a circus and disarm a nuclear bomb. It's really an unfortunate and frustrating scene to watch. And oh, by the way, did I mention this isn't some throwaway action scene at the beginning of the film, but it's actually the climax?
Are you serious? I'm a British agent.
What?
It actually makes me glad that Roger Moore did come back for another outing as Bond, because if this was our final memory of him, it would truly have been tragic. Other than those unfortunate moments, Octopussy is typical Roger Moore James Bond. He's charming, cunning, and still the man at hand-to-hand combat. Even in the face of certain death and a meal that would haunt your dreams, he's an ideal dinner guest. But Moore's best moments in Octopussy come when he's interacting with his Indian sidekick Vijay, and also when he's breaking out of the villain's palace, a scene that we'll get to later. Let's get to the women.
I wondered when you might arrive.
The main Bond girl in this movie is so kick-ass that they named the entire movie after her. Maud Adams plays Octopussy, a well-connected businesswoman and smuggler who also leads a sisterhood of women who rock octopus tattoos, live together in an isolated compound, and are fiercely loyal to their leader.
I train them, give them a purpose, a sisterhood and a way of life.
In crime.
In business.
Despite her pornographic name, Octopussy is actually, without question, one of the strongest and most independent women in all of Bond lore. She runs a traveling circus that doubles as a jewel smuggling operation, and she's actually portrayed as a villain for most of the film. But violence and world domination aren't Octopussy's bag. She's just in it for the money. Adams was the first actor to be a two-time Bond girl. She returns after her performance as Andrea in 1974's The Man with the Golden Gun.
Reception. Can I help you?
This is Miss Andrews, room 602.
She's even better the second time around, and she makes Octopussy into one of the most memorable Bond girls ever. Maud Adams was 38 years old when she played Octopussy. Octopussy's band of badass women includes mostly silent henchwomen, the most memorable of which are this statuesque blonde and this brunette who has incredible hair.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfortunately, we don't get to know a whole lot about either one of them. But the other official Bond girl in this movie is Magda, the right-hand woman of Octopussy. And once again, Magda is more woman than girl. She first shows up as a mysterious bidder challenging Bond to a Fabergé egg. Magda's a big mystery and one that we actually never get to crack. But she does pull off a great move by switching from sexy belly dance to kicking a guy's ass in one instant. Honestly, the female characters are probably the best part of this entire movie. Octopussy herself starts off as a villain before slowly switching to Bond's side, so I'm not going to count her here as a villain. There's also some crazy guy who looks kind of like Ron Simmons and uses this ridiculous weapon that acts like a yo-yo from hell. Move! Damn! We actually get two legitimate villains in this movie, and neither of them are really that good. General Orlov, played by Steven Burkov, is a lunatic Russian military man who goes rogue and tries to nuke an American military base. He's the most memorable of the two villains, but that's really just because he's so over the top. Orlov's grand scheme is to make the nuke look like an accidental explosion of an American bomb, which he for some reason thinks would lead to an immediate disarmament by Europe and the other Western powers, allowing the Soviets to take over the world.
And it doesn't matter a damn to you, I suppose, that thousands of innocent people will be killed in that accident of yours.
Better than letting a handful of old men in Moscow bargain away our advantage in disarmament talks.
It's a plan that's actually cleverly evil, but makes no sense when you really think about it. Plus, how cliché can you get having an evil Soviet want to take over the world using nuclear force? Now, the main villain in Octopussy is this guy, Kamal Khan. He's got a great name and suave looks, but not much else going for him. Khan is in bed with the Soviets and is making a killing by taking stolen Russian artifacts as payments for his deeds. He lives in a big palace in India, and he loves to eat eyeballs. He's also one of those super rich weirdos who digs exotic game hunting, which Bond finds out the hard way.
Sit.
I just feel like Khan never comes off as a legitimate threat to Bond. In the end, he pulls a Harrison Ford and crashes his rinky-dink airplane. After the awesome theme song that we heard in For Your Eyes Only, we get undoubtedly one of the lamest Bond songs ever in Octopussy.
No intention to do the things we've done.
Instead of going balls out and writing a song called Octopussy, John Barry and Tim Rice wrote a sleepy number called All Time High, which was sung by Rita Coolidge.
An all-time high will change all that's gone before, doing so much more.
This song is a snooze fest with lyrics that I guess are supposed to represent Octopussy's point of view, but they sound way too sappy to have come from this character. The visuals over this song are so dopey. Like, we get this weird dancing that's happening all throughout the thing. I mean, it's like Bond's figure skating with somebody or something. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. And then there's this model who shoots the 007 logo out of her gun like a laser pointer that I got for Christmas in 1998. This song should have been called All Time Low. Seriously, this song is shitty. One thing I do like about Octopussy is its views of India. This is a gorgeous country, and we get to see some of its bustling energy that it's famous for in this chase scene through a marketplace. It's probably my favorite sequence in the entire film just because it's exciting, but also a little cheeky. Plus, 007's Indian partner Vijay is just awesome in every way.
I'm Vijay, Special Expediter, Universal Exports. Welcome to India, Commander Bond.
Khan's Palace isn't much to write home about, although it does give us a few good looks at some beautiful wildlife. Other than that, it's pretty forgettable as far as a Bond villain HQ goes. We also spend some time in East Berlin, which of course is portrayed as drab and ugly. In terms of its aesthetics, Octopussy just doesn't look as big and sprawling and grand as some of the other great Bond adventures. We don't get a lot of picturesque landscape shots. Instead, we spend a lot of time inside circus tents and cramped train cars. But not in a good way like in From Russia with Love. It's mostly just a dull movie to look at. I give Octopussy a lonely 1 martini out of 5, not even enough to get you tipsy. It's just simply one of the worst Bond movies in virtually all aspects. Roger Moore doesn't seem to be enjoying himself, there's hardly any humor in this movie, and the action is mostly forgettable. It's a shame that the movie sucks so much because the opening scene is actually really good. You follow this circus clown as he desperately tries to get away from soldiers in East Berlin. You're not sure who he is or where he's trying to go, but it's a tense and exciting scene. It's interesting looking as well. Unfortunately, it's all downhill from there. Let's talk about the best performance in the movie, though. My Golden Gun Award for the best performance in Octopussy goes to Maud Adams as Octopussy. She really makes this character one of the most impressive Bond girls simply by having a commanding presence. She also delivers a solid monologue about the character's sad backstory.
He committed suicide rather than face the disgrace of a court-martial.
What's the connection?
He was my father. I'd hoped fate would bring us together one day.
To avenge him?
No, to thank you for giving him an honorable alternative.
It would have been cool for them to cast an Indian actor to play Octopussy, but Adams made the most of the part and proved to be a great choice to come back to the Bond franchise. Thanks for watching. Check out more reviews at overduereview.com and also listen to our podcast, The Stream Police, which is available on the podcast app, Acast, Stitcher, and several other places you can find it.